I confess, when I was your age, I was not terribly involved in politics. I was somebody, when I was growing up in Florida, I was playing baseball. When I was in college, I was playing baseball, working, doing a lot. It was a very busy time for me. But basically, I mean, I graduated high school, public high school in Florida, a blue-collar kid in 1997, and 21 years later, here I am, going to be the governor of the third largest state. And I say that just simply because I think that one of the things that I have learned throughout my life, and not just in athletics or in the military or in politics, but really everything, is there really is no substitute for hard work and just determination and being insistent on getting the absolute most out of your God-given ability. And if you guys, whatever your horizons are, whatever your ambitions are, if you're able to wake up in the morning, take a look in the mirror, and be satisfied that you're doing all that you can to get the most out of yourself, to do the most for the cause, for whatever you're pursuing, if you're satisfied on that, then I think you're doing a good job. But you got to be honest about that assessment. You got to ask whether there may be some more things that you can do. And I can't tell you that you're never going to experience a setback. I can't tell you that you're never going to fail. But what I can tell you is that if you really do work hard and you stay in there and you fight, eventually you will do well. I believe that in this country, and I believe it. It's not always easy. It doesn't always come easy for everyone, but eventually you will succeed if you're working as hard as you can. And there's going to be a lot of people that tell you you can't do this, you can't do that. Heck, everyone said I would never be able to be elected to the Congress. Nobody knows who this guy is. He can't raise money. And so, I had a 7-way primary when I ran in 2012. And I started off 6 months before the primary. I got into the race. My name ID was 0. I had no money in our campaign bank account. 6 months later, we won by almost 20 points in a 7-way race. People said, oh, when you get to Congress, you can't really do anything. You got to bide your time, all this other stuff. And, I didn't believe in that. I believe that, leadership matters, and it's not based on seniority inside the Congress or who's been a career politician. So I led on a lot of issues, whether it's moving our embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem on my subcommittee, whether it's, fighting militant Islamic terrorism here and abroad, whether it's fighting for things like tax cuts or all these other things. I mean, you got to make your voice heard, and so I was able to do that, and basically people recognize that. And then with the governor, people said, "Oh my gosh, you've got no chance you're never going to win the primary. You got this other guy's got all this money, blah 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 blah." And I got outspent in my primary more than 2-to-1. And people said you couldn't do it, and yet when it came time for the primary, we won by 20 points in the primary. Although it's interesting, there was a poll from St. Leo University 7 days before my primary that said I was going to lose by 9, and we won by 20. And then I saw, in the general, well, you're not going to be able to win the general. It's just no way. You just can't do it. And obviously that was a tough fight, but we did it in tough circumstances. I mean, this was a good Democratic year. I mean, there was a lot of Democrats coming out to vote. The left was really energized. They outspent us overall, probably more than we've ever been outspent, Congress, all these different races, but yet we hung in there. It was not always necessarily easy. I actually debated my opponent in the general election on CNN, and actually they did a good job with the debate, and it was fair. But afterwards, there was an exchange during the debate one time where I was hitting my opponent on something like high crime and something. And then he responds and he says something to the effect of, well, listen, we're on CNN. Facts matter. This isn't Fox News. That's what he said. And, I just kind of rolled my eyes at that. But the thing is, and I don't watch, this stuff, but someone called me like the next day or 2 days later, and they say, they're using the clip of your opponent on CNN as their network promos. So they were running him over and over again like free TV. And it was just funny that their thumb was on the scale like that. They actually did a poll on CNN saying DeSantis down 15 points in governor's race. And I look at it, and so my staff was talking to me about it. They're like, this is total nonsense. So I looked at it, and when you're polling, you got to try to poll the representative samples. Well, they polled 40% of respondents are likely Florida voters, which that's what you want in an election. 30% are registered Florida voters. Well, if you're registered but you're not going to vote, that may not. But the kicker was 30% are Florida residents who are not registered to vote in Florida. Why are you including them in the poll? So the obvious reason they were doing that is because they were trying to use a poll to create a narrative, and a narrative of this was going to somehow be a Democratic sweep. And so I guess the corollary to saying work hard, get the most out of your ability is, don't let the bastards grind you down. Because...
Hey everybody, this is Charlie Kirk, founder and CEO of Turning Point USA. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Turning Point USA.